talking about the inflation figures, Geoff. So sitting on 2%.
Yes, indeed. Now, on the one hand, this could be very disappointing for people. Obviously, rising prices is bad, but I would not necessarily panic at the moment. The Bank of England was waiting very carefully for this release and also for tomorrow's employment and wage data to decide whether or not we'll get an interest rate cut at the start of August. I think the odds are still that we'll probably get a rate cut. Now, that's simply because the inflation data this week, today, has probably been skewed a little by the Taylor Swift effect. Taylor had a series of record concerts here, and a lot of money was spent, which supported pub, beer, and hotel prices. So I think the bank will look beyond that and probably decide, well, that was just a one-off, Taylor Swift, one-woman economic boost to the country. And they'll look at tomorrow's hopefully softer wage data and employment data and decide, you know what, the time's right now for a rate cut.
I've just got some reaction from the government to bring our audience. Darren Jones, he's the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, saying it's welcome that inflation is at target, but we know that for families across Britain, prices remain high. We face the legacy of 14 years of chaos and economic irresponsibility. I just want to ask you about the IMF's forecast yesterday, which were revised in our favour quite significantly, predicting growth to be bigger this year than initially forecast and to be double next year, beating France and Germany, still behind Canada and the US. But this has also got to be welcome news for the brand new government.
It is good news for the government. However, for the bank and for the interest rate outlook, they'll be thinking, is this really going to be good enough? Because what the idea is, they want to keep inflation down. Inflation has been hurting people. Inflation has basically made consumer prices 20% higher permanently than they were prior to the pandemic. If growth kicks off again, like the IMF says, and maybe even if it's stronger than that, then that'll actually start pushing pressure, upwards pressure again on inflation. So the bank has a very tricky balancing act here. What they don't want to do is start cutting rates, only to find that the economy takes off again, and then they'll have to start hiking them again to bring inflation back under control. So we are in a very tricky situation here, and it will require a steady hand to get us through this.
OK, good to know. Thank you very much, Geoff Ho, former Daily and Sunday Express business editor. Thank you.